Dear Chairperson, on behalf of the Palestinian Independent Commission for Human Rights, I would like to welcome the annual report of the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights on the status of human rights in the OPT. The Israeli military siege on Gaza Strip and restrictions of movement within the OPT are flagrant violations of human rights and constitutes a form of collective punishments against Palestinians in the OPT. The siege contributes to the deteriorations of the humanitarian situations, the standard of living, and the rising levels of poverty and unemployment, which exacerbates social problems. The restriction of the citizens' right to movement caused a series of grave violations of the right to health, right to education, right to work, right to decent living, the right to food, and the right to family unifications. Consistent and systematic Israeli violations also constrains the ability of the Palestinian Authority to fight poverty, unemployment, and the provision of necessary services to its own citizens. This is in addition to the separation policies between Gaza and the West Bank, which negatively affects the life of Palestinian citizens. All of this undermines Palestinians' right to self-determination, strongly affecting the status of human rights in the occupied Palestinian territories. The Israeli siege affects the infrastructure of health establishments and causes constant shortage of medicine and medical equipment and constrains the entrance of medical supplies that are needed for the functions of hospitals and for provisions of quality health services, especially in cases of chronic diseases. It also deprives thousands of Gazan students from education in the West Bank universities. Dear Chairperson, Israel, as an occupying authority, has legal obligations under international law. The ICHR, therefore, calls upon your esteemed Council to act immediately, effectively, and seriously to exert pressure on the occupying state of Israel to immediately lift the military siege on the Gaza Strip, lift all restrictions of movement in the OPT, and to provide a safe passage between the West Bank and Gaza Strip to ensure the smooth passage of persons and goods through the border crossings, including food supplies, medicine, fuel, and the materials needed to rebuild Gaza Strip. Thank you.